All right, all right. Welcome, welcome. I hope. Anyway, thank you for coming tonight. I hope you can hear me okay. We have had some technical difficulties as we have been getting this together. If you wouldn't mind hopping in the chat and just letting me know, first of all, if you can hear me. Second of all, if there's any sort of weird echo, we've been working to solve some of those issues. And I will tell you right now, we're gonna have problems. There's gonna be issues. And says, Jay, I hear you. Oh, one thing on this. So if you want to have your face seen, have your and your name in there, just open up another browser window while you're listening, while you're watching. Just go to chat.restream. Hey, okay, Michelle, awesome. Just woohoo. And see how she shows up with her face and it shows her name. If you go to chat.restream.io/FB, you give permission there, and everybody can see you. You can see, oh, awesome! You can hear me with no echo. Ron, so cool to see you again. Awesome. Okay. All right. So I am so excited about this. And I have my box of tissues over there because I just recognize I might have some tears. I get like that. I want to tell you just a little bit. I want to give you a little bit of a setup on this, on what we're going to experience this 5 days. It's 5 days plus bonuses. We're going to have so much fun. First of all, I want to tell you just a really quick story about me and about why this is happening. So it was back in September. I went to a conference. I was listening to a speaker named Pedro Adeo. He was speaking. He was talking about the need for challenges. And when he was talking, like, I got this heavenly download where God was telling me, Scott, I want you to do a challenge. And here's the people that I want you to serve. I want you to serve mission-driven entrepreneurs who have a calling, who have a bigger purpose. And then he gave me the title for the challenge. And the title was, God's calling me to do something I don't know what to do or how to do. And I'm like, God, that isn't a title, that's a paragraph. So anyway, that led to other things. I did another challenge, hosted another challenge a little while ago. Ron, I know that you were in that. Some of you may have also seen that too. Faith Over Fear. Really cool. Well, just recently I have gotten some inspiration again, and the clarity came about to do the challenge and do it about publishing, to teach people, to teach mission-driven entrepreneurs how to publish, how to blog, how to do podcasts, how to do live streams, how to get your voice out there so that people can connect with you. They can look in your eyes, they can hear the sincerity of your voice, and they can truly connect with you. So that is what this challenge is all about. Thank you all so much for your comments in here. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear and that all of this is going live and that we're good here. So, okay. So again, if you want your face showing up, just go to chat.restream.io/FB. That's in a separate browser. You give permission there, and then we'll have your face and your name up there. And it just makes it more personal, right? Because we want you to be seen. We want you to be heard. Okay, now a couple of things. I'm going to just run through a few questions. These are reminders for myself. I'm going to do this at the beginning and then also at the end. So first of all, if you are watching this somewhere else, like we are using a lot of technology here, which is why some things might not work, but we're multicasting out to several different places. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. And so you may be seeing this, not even knowing what this is about. And I would recommend that you go to godscalling.me to register. If you have issues with it registering, sometimes it shows up with an unsecure website. Just type in HTTP S. Make sure the S is in there, and the colon back, // and then godscalling.me, and that'll get you the secure site. You'll be able to register. That way you get all the emails, you'll be reminded about when we're having all of these things. So that's the first thing. Make sure that you register. Second thing is, if you're joining from somewhere else, you're also going to want to join into the Facebook group. This is the event Facebook group. Facebook.com groups/God's Calling Me. This is the God's Calling Me movement. And when you get in there, you're going to find that you will have, anyway, we're going to have a challenge every day for you to do. And this is where we want you to post it, because it's your safe community. We are all here together. We are entrepreneurs. We are mission driven. We are not going to make fun of you. We are pushing ourselves, into uncomfortable places. And so that's where you're going to want to go. Just make sure you sign up there and we'll get you access to that. Also, I invite you to upgrade to VIP. If you haven't already done so, you can re-register. Just make sure you re-register using your same email address. You don't want multiple emails coming from us. The cool thing about VIP, actually, there's a bunch of really cool things, but one of the really cool things is we do an after party right after, where we go deeper diving. Not every one of our speakers will be able to attend that, but some of them, hopefully most of them will. And with that, we do hot seats. You turn on your Zoom cameras. We get to see you. It gets to be more interactive. Right now, we are broadcasting it out to as many places as we can, and it doesn't allow that intimacy. So if you do want to upgrade to VIP, just re-register godscalling.me, and you'll be able to get into that. So that's number 3. Number 4, thank you so much for letting me know that, hearing every other word. Oh, that's not what I wanted to hear. Okay, yeah, we are having some technical challenges. We will do what we can to kind of sort this out. Sorry about that. And then, okay, so yeah, today's challenge, this is a reminder for myself. At the end of today's session, I'm going to give you a challenge, something that is going to push you outside of your comfort zone. So that's a reminder for you to remind me. And then also, if you have any VIP problems, if you've upgraded to VIP and the link doesn't work, or you don't get the email or something like that, go into Facebook, DM me, especially if you're in the Facebook group. I think it gets you access to me like that. So that's our backup in case the technology doesn't work. Now, the reason I bring this, and this one says, "Here and you find on my end." Awesome. And again, if you want your face and your name listed, just go to chat.restream.io/FB. It gives the applications permission, and then you get to show up with your face and everything. So really cool stuff. Anyway, thank you all for joining. Super excited to share some things. Wanted to just let you know that this is for you if you believe your business is a calling, and you know that your products, your services, your messages can change the lives of the people that you serve. What we want to go over during the course of these 5-7 days is that we're going to help empower you to be able to do this in the most authentic way possible, the way that can impact the most people, and also can actually be the easiest. Once you get into it, and I know it doesn't sound like that at all. I told a friend of mine that the promise was that you could publish easily and effortlessly, and he's like, "Scott, that's an overpromise. Nobody's going to believe that." It's true, and we're going to help you go through that. So as we go through this week, you're going to get challenges, you're going to get exercises, you're going to get opportunities, and you're going to hear from some amazing people who have been doing this and who can share some incredible things with you on how you can do this too. So without further ado, I'm excited to share. I'm excited to introduce Robin to you. So Robin Graham is our speaker tonight. I say speaker, it's not really a speaker. She's not like going to present to you or something like that. We're going to have a conversation. You're going to possibly add ask some questions in here. We're going to be able to hear you, with your text and everything like that. We're going to be able to interact with you. But we have Robin Graham on tonight. We're going to interview her. She is a Christian podcaster. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is passionate about serving others and helping women find clarity around their purpose to build personal brands and strong foundations for long-term business success. She is a business and a mindset coach. She is the host of The Robin Graham Show and the author of Me, You, and Anxiety. Take action over anxiety and enjoy being you, in which she shares her lifelong journey with anxiety to help others navigate anxiety to live a joyful, peaceful, and purposeful life. Robin enjoys speaking on personal branding, mindset, anxiety, and faith to help women become confident in pursuing their God-led callings. Can you see why she's going to be so awesome tonight? And navigate the digital world of entrepreneurship. She is a wife, a mom to 3, a woman of faith, and is on the executive board of directors for Face to Face Germantown, an organization in the greater Philadelphia area serving impoverished members of the community. So with that, who wants to hear from Robin? Who wants to connect with her? Okay. So, also, I just want to make a special invitation. Yes, everybody who is watching this live, hello, thank you for coming. I also welcome everybody who is watching this on a delayed broadcast. The very cool thing that we get to do with video and with broadcasting technologies that that you already know about, but we can transcend time. So those of you that are watching this later, thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for being here. So with that, let's bring out Robin and let's make sure that I've got her audio on. Can you hear me okay, Robin?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too. And so anybody in comments, if you could just let us know if there's an echo or how things are working out. But anyway, we'll just kind of keep moving forward. Thank you, Robin, for joining us. And I hope the intro was okay. I hope I represented you correctly.
You did, Scott. Thank you so much.
All right, so I just want to set up one thing here. So the topic that we are talking about today is about find your voice. And one of the things that I believe is being able to publish, being able to get your voice out there just makes the hugest difference. Can you tell me a little bit about your story, your journey in entrepreneurship, kind of how you got to where you are, and what being able to share your voice, being able to podcast, what that has meant to your business?
Oh my gosh. So many things. I see someone in the audience named Amy who has her Farm D. I too have my Farm D, and that was my original career. So I was in corporate for many years. And then 11 years ago, we can hear you with no echo. Okay, great. So anyway, 11 years ago, almost 12, I started a professional photography business. So I moved from the corporate world to follow my passion. During the course of working with personal branding clients, creating branded images, and all of those great things, I discovered that most of my clients did not know how to build a foundation for their business. They didn't know what to do with these gorgeous images. They weren't sure about SEO, how to use the images for SEO, and all of those good things. So I started consulting with my clients, and then that led me to become a certified brand strategist, sorry. And then from there, I started coaching. And now that's what I'm focusing on, is working primarily with women, but helping them navigate mindset barriers, create a brand marketing strategy, teaching them those tools, the tech, the systems and processes that are behind the scenes that can be so overwhelming. And then not only having that strategy, but taking effective, intentional action and holding them accountable for that.
Awesome. And how did you get into podcasting? How does that fit into all this?
So I used to be terrified of public speaking. And so video was not my thing, but I knew I could tell stories and I knew I could be comfortable behind a mic. And I love to interview people. and I love to tell stories. So that's what led me to podcasting. Now I'm on video all the time and it doesn't faze me. But all of my, I guess, security, confidence in front of the camera came from being behind the mic.
Mm. And how long have you been podcasting?
It's been about 5 years now.
Oh, really?
So I
Oh,
was podcasting. Yeah, I was podcasting with a group of three other women. And then I went solo in 2020.
okay. And so like, did it take a while for you to be comfortable hearing your own voice? Did it uncomfortable right from the get go? Was it like this huge jumping off a cliff like terror barrier kind of thing, or was it easy because it was in your own home, or how was it for you?
The first few episodes I did were solo episodes. And I wrote everything out and I followed a script. I was worried I'd mess up. But once I started interviewing more, the it, it just the whole shell broke loose.
Hmm.
I just was able to do so much more off the cuff. And most of my interviews are very just conversational, authentic, and that's what I would love to tell the audience and encourage people is that the more genuine you are, the more you come from your heart and that place of authenticity, the easier it is. We don't have to script things out if we're coming from a place of passion
Hmm.
and talking about those things that excite us, that light us up, and that we're passionate about.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, I have a kind of a similar story. So I was driving to my first personal development conference ever. I was going to Las Vegas, and I downloaded all these Brendan Burchard podcasts, if you know who Brendan is. And so I'm listening to like 8 hours of Brendan back to back to back to back. And one of the things that he said in there, and it just like God just kind of touched my heart and said, Scott, pay attention to this. And he said that he taught himself to speak extemporaneously. And that was the most frightening thing ever for me. I mean, I'm a writer by trade. I'm a screenwriter. And so I can script stuff out really well. I can make it sound articulate. I can make me sound articulate, which is a big trick, and I felt like comfortable in that safety zone. But the way that I got that message was I need to pay attention. And I think everything has changed for me when I have learned to and trained myself as a skill to be able to speak more extemporaneously. But what I find, and it seems to be what you're saying too, is when you do that, you can show up authentically, and you're able to
Mhm.
share your passions and be who you are. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we have to have a script in order to come off as knowledgeable. And I think the more off the cuff we can be, speaking from our passions and just our own intellect, we come across more authentic and more genuine, and we build trust
Hmm.
trust faster.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into the trust factor because I think this is what is so magical about right now in this period of time in our nation's history, in our world's history, is for mission-driven entrepreneurs, for, these heart-centered people who have a desire to change the world, who have a genuine desire to help other people. I think this is the perfect time to show up as you are because people can look in your eyes and they can hear the sincerity of your voice and they recognize truth. And it also is a perfect time for faith-centered people to be able to share light and everything because as people hear that they're going to recognize there's something different with Robin. What is it about her that just makes me want to listen to her and everything. So I think right now is the time for people to share their voices, to show up, be authentic, be real, and that will help separate them from anybody else out there because of just who they are. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Scott. And when I'm working with my clients and we're trying to really dive deep for clarity around their purpose, their God-led calling, I always start with values. And then we look at their visions and their passions. When you look at all three of those things and you've listed them all out, somewhere there's an overlap. If you think of a Venn diagram, there's a point where there's intersection. And where that intersection is where your purpose is. The more aligned you are with your values and your visions and your passions and your purpose, the more authentic you're going to be able to be, but the more people will see you as genuine and trustworthy.
Hmm. So there's that trust factor again, being able to see that and feel that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you
Yeah.
feel that the human voice helps with that? Like, do you have any thoughts on
Oh my
that?
gosh. So, yeah. So when we talk about our personal brand, your personal brand is what other people think, say, and feel about you. Your
Okay.
personal branding is your effort to control that perception, to differentiate yourself. So we often think about what we look like, right? And how we present ourselves from an outward physical appearance. But our voice is also an integral part of who we are. If you think about it, if you're listening to maybe musicians or maybe a speaker, there are certain voices that just don't resonate with you. Maybe they rub you wrong, or maybe they are so soothing and comforting to you, and they automatically make you feel relaxed and comfortable and more confident. So, yes, how you sound is very important because I think it's just another way. It like I always say your eyes are the gateway to your soul,
Hmm.
but your voice is also an integral part of that. Like I think it's really shows, especially when you're talking about something you're passionate about, it really comes through in your voice.
Yes, absolutely. So when I was at that original personal development conference, one of the things that somebody said was they said all speaking or everything is speaking. They said writing is just speaking slowly. And I thought, oh, that's right. And it is all just the voice in our head that we then get out. And another experience that I had, I ran into, so at one time I was doing content marketing to grow my business. And by that, I meant blogging. I would do articles that at that time I was teaching the skills of happiness, and I would do these articles that I just hoped would get picked up, that people would stumble across. Then they'd find out about me and my products and services, and it was a lot of hope marketing. But it was based around, I'd write articles, hopefully have a lot of value in there. People would see it, share it, and it would get spread. And I had the hardest time getting any of these articles written. It would take me hours and hours and hours. And I remember going to this other conference, and there were a couple of podcasters there. And they were up at the front of the room and they were talking. They said, if you are doing content marketing, raise your hand. A whole bunch of people raised their hand. They said, if you are spending more than 20 minutes or raise your hand if you are spending like more than 2 hours working on your articles. And I'm like, yes. And they said, here's how you do it. You sit down, you press start, you start to talk, or you press record, you start to talk, and then when you're done, you press stop. And that's it. And as I listened to that and thought about that, I thought, oh my goodness, what a much better way to be able to get your message across. At that time I was still so scared of recording myself like that, but the idea of it could be that simple just kind of blew my mind. How do you do your podcasting? Is it all scripted out, or do you start with a show topic, or what's the format, and how does it work for you?
It depends, Scott. If I'm doing a solo episode, I will script it out, but as I'm doing the episode, things will come up. Like I always say, God puts an idea in my head. The Holy Spirit's like activating, right? But when I'm doing interviews, it's not scripted. If, depending on the person, I may have a list of questions, but very rarely I'll have an idea based on who they are, what they do, what their audience is, and what I think my audience might want to hear from them. And we just have a conversation. But what I will say about that is that whether I do a solo episode or a interview, I create an SEO ready blog post. So it's
Okay.
almost the reverse.
Yeah.
But the key is that when you are broadcasting, you have so much additional content. You don't have to create content all the time because you can repurpose it. So I'll take one podcast episode, whether it's solo or an interview, create a blog post, which is SEO compatible. So it brings traffic to my website. You can put the audio there on the website, or you can just have the blog post. I do both. And then you can use that for your social media content. So
Ah,
you're saving yourself time and energy, which time and energy both equate to money.
yeah. Yeah. How long does it take you to do an episode? What does that look like for you?
I try to keep my interviews down to 30 minutes. Every now and then, the conversation will be very valuable and we'll go a little bit over.
Hmm.
But I try to keep that 30-minute mark because inevitably, if I'm doing the blog post, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. So, to do the editing, because I have to stop and take notes and then start over. So that may take me a little bit more time. But typically, I would say from interview or solo episode through doing the blog post, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Okay. And I'm just gonna. Crystal asked a great question here. Not knowing what SEO, search engine optimization. Can you explain what that is and how you
Oh,
use that? Because with your branding, I mean, it
yes.
sounds like that's what you're helping people with.
Yes, this is one of the things that I work with my clients on. So, a lot of times people will have a website built, and the website designer will put everything together. It looks beautiful, but it's not highly functional. And when I say highly functional, that means the back end. So we want to take a look at the back end of your website. And what I always say is if you Google a question and then all those results come up, there's going to be a header or a title, and that's going to have a keyword or key phrase that you've typed in. And then underneath that is a meta description. So all of those things are what are on the back end of a website, like for a website page or a blog post that helps Google find you. So if you think of Google, Google's this massive thing, and if it's you think of a spider web. So the World Wide Web is like a big spider web. And when someone asks a question, Google sends out these little spiders to comb the web. So whatever the question was, they're in search for that answer. So you want to have search engine optimization on your website so that those little spiders can find you.
Yeah. And one thing that was pointed out to me, I love doing video, love doing YouTube videos and things like that. One thing that was pointed out to me is YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and it's owned by the largest. And so if you are working to make sure that you are giving out valuable content and you do work on your SEO, then your messages will get to the right people. And if you're publishing, getting lots of content out there, you have greater chances for people to connect. Would you agree, Robin?
Absolutely. And having a podcast, you can also repurpose that to YouTube.
Hmm, that's so true.
You can
Okay.
actually, if you do your podcast interviews live, you can do them live on YouTube, live on Facebook, or you can just repurpose the video from the podcast episode and put the video on YouTube and the audio on whatever platform you're publishing on.
Okay. So, as we've been talking about easily and effortlessly publishing, does that feel like an overpromise to you? With the things that you have learned, the systems that you've put in place, is it an overpromise? Is it an impossible dream, or is that something that you've found that works for you?
No, so podcasting is a really great way to reach the masses. And outside of having a mic or maybe having a platform to do interviews on, like Zoom or Restream or some other, it's mostly free if you're doing it yourself. Now, I am at the point where I have a podcast manager, but if you're doing it yourself, it's your time, but you're not having to pay someone to do it. But
Yeah.
then you have all of this content. So you can reach more people, you can provide more value, you can build more trust, and we know trust determines buying practices. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. We buy from those we know, like, and trust. And if they can hear you, and if they can look in your eyes and see you, you're going to shortcut that get to know you learning period. So anyway, it's all, you have those opportunities right now to make those things happen by sharing your voice. So I want to transition back to the topic for the day. Find your voice. How is it that you have found your voice? What was part of your journey that really helped that come out, and your true voice with that?
So I would go back to the purpose equation that I mentioned, Scott.
Okay.
I'm following my values, my visions, and my passions. And so for me to be able to help other people, to be able to share my thoughts and my knowledge and my wisdom, to be able to help them save time, save energy, save money, and to, really build my audience and that trust factor so that I can attract more clients.
Okay. Very cool. Awesome. Um, we're going to transition to some other stuff right now. While we're on this subject and just kind of talking about sharing your voice and publishing, is there anything else that you want to say, words of encouragement to anybody that is thinking about doing this, not really sure that that their voice matters, not sure that they can do it? Anything that you would say encouraging wise, Robin?
A couple of things. One, if I can do this, you can do this. Two, if you are contemplating starting a podcast, just make sure that you know who your audience is. You want to create a graphic that is going to be attractive. People are going to be drawn to it. If you can have your face there, that's going to be even better because people resonate with people. They don't
Mhm.
buy products and services. They buy personalities, they buy people, and they buy based on trust. So if your face can be there, even better. Think long and hard about the name of your show. You can name your show, like mine is the Robin Graham Show, but then I have a subheading as well, because that's all searchable from an SEO perspective. So you want to make sure that your title is something that will not only resonate with other people, but will be searchable and will be found based on what you do, the messages you're spreading, and who you want to attract to you.
Okay, very cool. All right, I want to transition to just a couple other things real quick. First of all, I want to let you know that at the end of this week, we have an offer for you. And we feel that we would be doing you a disservice if we were to be talking to you about how you need to get your voice out, how you need to be able to publish, and we're encouraging you to do this. We want you to be able to do it easily and effortlessly. And the product at the end will help you to do that. And along with this, Robin has given a wonderful bonus. And I'm gonna show a graphic. I think you'll still be able to hear Robin. But Robin, if you'll tell us just a little bit about this. So yeah,
Yes. So this is basically an ebook,
there we
but
go.
it goes through my purpose to results method. And in the book, I talk about the three key things for long term success: mindset, strategy, and action. And then I break out into 6 different things that are key that to have for your foundation for long-term success.
Okay, very cool. And you're going to hear more about that this week. And then the other thing that I want to talk to you about is this is a this is a challenge. Actually, you know what? There was one thing that I meant to do at the beginning. I wonder if I still have these graphics up. Okay, yeah, at the beginning. So I did this on my first episodes, my first challenges, and I talked to people about kind of three things. Do you want me to play all in? Do you want me to hold back a little bit, and do you want me to be conservative? And I let you vote on that. I wasn't going to give you the opportunity to vote on it today because I'm just playing all in. But this is an opportunity for you right now. What are you going to do? Are you going to play all in? Are you going to hold back? Are you going to be conservative? Conservative, we do that all the time. That's how we live in the neighborhood. We are like, we're holding back quite a bit. Option B, holding back, that's more when we're around friends and family. They get most of us, but they don't get the full us. And there's only a few people that we trust enough that we can play all in with. I hope that you feel safe in our community. I hope that you feel that you can play all in with all of this. And I hope that you will choose to play all in. So as I bring those up, so the challenge that you have for today, Ron, I love that you were playing all in on this. You've played all in before, and I love that you're doing that again. So the way that we have this set up is each day you're going to get a new challenge, a new opportunity for you to go to. What I want you to do today, between today and when we broadcast tomorrow night, I want you to find your voice. So I'm going to have you go to videoask.com. I have a video actually in the Facebook group that will walk you through how to set up an account, how to go through all of this. And I want you to record a 2-minute video where you introduce yourself to other challenge participants. Now, one of the reasons I've chosen Video Ask, it's free, up to like a certain number of minutes or something like that you use this. But the reason I chose it is because it limits you to just 2 minutes. And so you need to be focused. You need to be, like clear on what it is that you're going to share there. It's also super easy. You're going to find it's push button easy, and you record it. And then when you're done, you can watch it and make sure you like it before you accept. If you don't like it, you re-record it again. But what I want you to do when you find the video that you like, copy and paste the video link into the Facebook group. And then we get to start hearing from one another. We get to start meeting you. We get to hear what your voice is about. We get to meet you by looking in your eyes, hearing the sincerity of your voice, and really connecting with each other. So this is awesome. I'm excited to have you guys do this. So day one, find your voice. That's the challenge. I will post this in the Facebook group. So if you're watching this at a later time, you see what it is, you're reminded where to go. And that is the challenge for today that you have. So one last thing before we jump off on this, Robin, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot here because we didn't talk about this before, but do you want to jump to the backstage pass with VIPs after? Do you have time to do that with us?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. So with that, let me just move these so that you can see. I'm just going to run through those reminders that I had for myself one more time, just in case let's see, didn't show up on this. I have to go to a slightly different screen. Okay, so here's the reminders real quick. If you have not registered, if you're watching this because we're broadcasting this simultaneously, across the web, if you haven't registered, you want to go to godscalling.me so you get the reminder emails and all sorts of things. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, here is the Facebook group. It's called God's Calling Me. It's the God's Calling Me movement, and that's the URL that you can find it. If you want to upgrade to VIP, and this is your last chance right now so that you can be able to get in and talk with Robin as you get to turn on your Zoom. It's a Zoom call, and so you get to turn on your cameras. We get to interact with you more face to face. It's just so cool. We have had so much fun. Ron could attest to this, who has been in VIP before. And then I did give you today's challenge, so that was a reminder to myself. And then any problems you have, I will try and keep Facebook open and be monitoring that. Facebook is our kind of backup. because I've had some technology issues where sometimes emails don't go out and other things. Also, everybody who joins VIP, they get the recordings at the end of this. It comes at the very end because there's a bunch of editing and things that have to happen with it. But just wanted to give you that heads up. And then with that, we're going to close. And I made a mistake. And I ask for your forgiveness on this for everyone. I like to start these with a word of prayer, and I totally forgot today. But if you wouldn't mind, um, and anyway, if you wouldn't mind if we close with prayer, Robin, would you want to say that? Do you want me to say that? Again, I'm putting you on the spot on that. I'm happy to say it.
I'm happy to.
Okay. Okay. We had a prayer before this went live, and I think it helped out our technology issues. Ron, you mentioned how our lip sync was off for a little bit. I did notice it synced up a little bit later, but I love to ask for God's help when we're putting these things together. And then at the end, I love to just express gratitude for what He's done. And so, Robin, if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be so cool.
Sure.
Thank you.
Dear Lord God, thank you for the blessing of this evening to be able to share and to teach and to help inspire other people to discover what their calling is, what their purpose is, and how you want them to start to tell the world about what that is. I pray that you please give them the confidence, the strength, the courage to start publishing, that they can take the information we shared with them this evening and launch themselves forward to serve more other people and to do your will according to your grace. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. I know I put you on the spot for that. Thank you for doing that. And everyone that showed up tonight live, thank you for doing that. And everyone that is here on a rebroadcast, because technology works that way, thank you for listening all the way through. And I hope that you find great value on this. I hope that you will, in the next 24 hours, jump in, do today's challenge, push yourself into scary places. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Just, I want to, okay. Now we got to go. But like if you hop in the Facebook group, I'm going to show this to you just real quick. Okay. Because we had a really cool member of our group, and I just want you to point out, I just want to point out to you what this looks like and how there's just some really cool stuff. So Facebook, I'm just going right to our Facebook group. And if we scroll down a little bit, let's see. Right here, Brandon Smith. If you watch Brandon's video, you're going to see that he's just like you. He was afraid. He's talking in here about how scared he was to be able to just do this in front of a camera, sharing his voice. As you listen to him, as you hear his message, you're going to go, I love this Brandon. Who is he? I want to know more about him. That's what's going to happen with you when you start sharing your voice, when you start talking in the community, when you start doing all of these challenges. We want you to get comfortable in front of the camera. We want you to start broadcasting, whether it's voice, even if it's blogging, anything like that. We want you to get comfortable with who you are and the gifts that you have to share. So with that, we will see you tomorrow night, same time, same channel. And or if you're in VIP, we'll see you in just a few minutes. Just give us a couple minutes to reset a few things, and we'll see you in there. And thank you for joining us. And Robin, we honor you for showing up and sharing your message. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Okay, and with that, we'll close the broadcast, and we'll see you soon.